Agriculture and Honorable Member for Babonneau.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to make a statement as it pertains to the banana industry in Saint Lucia and what has transpired over the past few weeks and months. Mr. Speaker, the review of the agricultural sector is showing expanded growth. The output of most subsectors has experienced high level of production, Mr. Speaker, notwithstanding the negative impact of climate change. For example, Mr. Speaker, Tropical Storm Matthew in 2016, where it was estimated that 80% of our banana fields got damaged. Again, Mr. Speaker, in 2017, we had a negative impact of climate change, Irma and Maria. What we saw and what we experienced during that time, especially during the time of Maria, Mr. Speaker, was that it's estimated between 10 to 20% of our fields being damaged. However, Mr. Speaker, in the case of Roseau, that's the Roseau Valley, it was estimated to be 30 to 40%, with some farmers experiencing up to 60 to 70% loss. And again, Mr. Speaker, in 2018, we experienced Tropical Storm Kut, which destroyed 80% of our banana fields. Despite, Mr. Speaker, all these tropical storms, Saint Lucia still recorded 5.8% growth as far as banana sales to the UK, and a 7.6% in revenue for 2018. The undisputed fact, Mr. Speaker, is that banana exports in 2018, despite all the negative impact of climate change, has been the highest in 5 years. That's an undisputed fact. Mr. Speaker, the governments understand and appreciating the socio-economic impact of a well-coordinated agricultural program on our rural communities has decided to undertake a focused approach in the implementation of our many agricultural programs. The Banana Production Improvement Project, BPIP, with the financial and technical assistance from the government of the Republic of China, Taiwan, is one such program, Mr. Speaker. Since the establishment following the Tropical Storm Matthew in September 2016, we have experienced, and that's the fact, we have grown from 1,117 acres to 2,669 acres of banana cultivation. We have moved from 230 farmers to 643 farmers operating 764 farms, Mr. Speaker. We have moved from 195 farmers selling fruits to the UK market to 291 farmers now selling fruits to the UK market, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, presently, we have about 290 farmers waiting to be Eurogap certified. This certification, Mr. Speaker, is necessary to allow these farmers to sell fair trade bananas on the UK market. Presently, Mr. Speaker, we have a system that only allows for 10% of your certified farmers to be certified for a year, which means if we allow that system to continue, it will take us over 8 years to have all these farmers certified. So we are looking at ways and means, Mr. Speaker, to see how we can get all these farmers certified so they can sell the bananas on the UK market. Considering the positive impact of the Banana Production Improvement Program, the stakeholders are projecting a weekly export production figure of 17,000 boxes, Mr. Speaker. Of course, we can accomplish this barring any negative impact of climate change and any introduction of pests and disease that will affect our production. Notwithstanding that projection, Mr. Speaker, Windfresh informed the National Fair Trade Organization, NFTO, that they can only guarantee 6,000 boxes weekly of fair trade bananas, with over 4,000 boxes being small fingers. Mr. Speaker, this situation, if allowed to remain, is not favorable and supportive to our program. And this has caused the Honorable Prime Minister to lead a delegation, Mr. Speaker, to the UK, where we dialogue with a number of supermarkets and the French company, UGBAN, that is interested in purchasing our bananas. Mr. Speaker, UGBAN, this other meeting, expressed its interest in purchasing Saint Lucia bananas and agreed to a trial shipment of 1,000 boxes for a 3-week period in the first instance. And of course, they gave a commitment to us that if this trial shipment proves successful, they will continue with 3,000 boxes weekly. These boxes are expected to contain 22 clusters, 6 fingers bag food. That is the requirement. 22 clusters, 6 fingers bag food. Whilst we were able, Mr. Speaker, to get the 1,000 boxes for our first trial shipment, because of the size of our fruits, Mr. Speaker, we were not able to get 22 clusters in the boxes that we are using in St. Lucia right now. So that is a challenge for us. In light of that experience, Mr. Speaker, we are discussing with the company, that's UGBAN, on the possibility of other options, such as less clusters in the box, or getting a more appropriate carton that will be able to accommodate the 22 clusters. And of course, to explore the option of selling loose fruits. Mr. Speaker, as it pertains to the other supermarkets, I can say that there is an interest in our bananas. But what we realize is that there seems to be more interested in short fingers and organic fair trade bananas. But it was generally accepted at these meetings that we should engage in a branding campaign of St. Lucia bananas, and some of the supermarkets have agreed to give support as it pertains to that initiative. Mr. Speaker, we also visited Windfresh facilities in the UK, and the visit discovered some challenges for us. One, we're realizing that our farmers are packing small fingers in standard boxes. We also realized that there are a number of boxes that we had uneven ripening because of different grades that were packed in the box, and of course mechanical damage. Mr. Speaker, the way forward, I think there's a need for us to continue to discuss with UGBAN, that's a French company, as to the respective options. And let me say here today, Mr. Speaker, that this government have never shipped any container of bananas to France. The trial we did 2 weeks ago was the first attempt at shipping bananas to France. So the information going around that we have shipped bananas to France and it was a failure, that's incorrect. But, Mr. Speaker, I can say that the French company is interested in our bananas, and we believe that there's a need for us to explore options. Mr. Speaker, what we believe there's need for us to implement a training program for our packers, our inspectors, and our farmers to address the quality issues that Windfresh is experiencing, because it is affecting our trade in the UK market. There's also need for us to review the inspection operations at the IRBC, because some of the farmers need to be inspected because of the way they're packing the fruits and the quality that we are realizing that they're sending up in the UK. And of course, there's need for us to continue discussing how we can undertake the branding initiative, which of course everybody believes that it's important. Mr. Speaker, in the short term, we have had discussion with Windfresh, and they have agreed to increase the allocation of product 11 by 3,000 boxes. And that figure was arrived at based on a meeting that the stakeholders had with Windfresh, including myself, and they have agreed to increase the allocation by 3,000 boxes weekly. But it's also important, Mr. Speaker, that we have discussion with the stakeholders to see how we can make the price more attractive for the non-fair trade pack types. And I'm saying that, Mr. Speaker, because we are hearing a lot about allocation. We heard a lot about the farmers not being able to sell the bananas. And I have attached to my presentation, which will be circulated, Mr. Speaker, information coming from Windfresh. And I just want to go through it quickly. For example, last week, in June 8th, that's the shipment for June 8th, Windfresh requested from NFTU 14,000 boxes. And the breakdown was small fruits, 4,600, and standard fruits, 9,400. 14,000 boxes. What did NFTU ship? 10,965 boxes. The question is, something is wrong. Or it is your end farmers cannot sell the bananas because it's in the field. Or it is that NFTU is getting an allocation and they cannot fulfill it. Again, this week we shall be observing what's happening, because again this week they have increased the allocation from 14,000 boxes to 16,000 boxes. So I'm hoping, Mr. Speaker, that at the end of this week, our farmers will be able to sell the bananas based on the requests from NFTU. Mr. Speaker, we also believe that there's need for the NFTU to get Rainforest Alliance certification, because that's a new type, apart from the yoga, that's a new type of certification, and if they can get certified through the Rainforest Alliance certification program, at least we can sell more bananas in the UK market. Now, Mr. Speaker, based on the challenges that we have right now with the productivity improving, and that's a fact, with the productivity improving, we are seeing we're getting bigger fingers, and the market is gravitating to smaller fingers. So now we're going to demonstrate, Mr. Speaker, some technology to see how we can get a more balanced approach as it pertains to the fingers. So what we are going to demonstrate is to remove the top hand to see how it's going to affect the remainder of the fruits. So that's something we're going to demonstrate in the medium to long term. And of course, Mr. Speaker, we were told that Martinique is now engaged in what they call chemical-free bananas, and I'm sure one will appreciate that there's some collaboration between Martinique and ourselves, and we shall be engaging Martinique to see what our technology that they're using to get chemical-free bananas, so at least to see if our farmers can be exposed to that technology, because that's what the market is asking for. So, Mr. Speaker, I believe that bés à sou visite là nous fait en Angleterre, bés à sou tout bagay qui fait au bas with Prime Minister, bés à sou toutes ces meetings là nous joignent là, moi crois that nous en right direction là. Ça nous continuer à parler puis Windfresh, nous continuer à parler puis NFTO, nous avons production qui monter, nous avons that NFTO qui bail Windfresh qui bail pre allocation, but ça nous avons that allocation na Windfresh qui bail NFTO pas satisfy, you pas satisfy. So that's a problem, because par moi pas ça 20 figures, et puis here it is that Windfresh by NFTO allocation, you pack a satisfy allocation now. So, sans a problem, which ministry can investigate, pour assurer that programme now nous mettre en place, qui a fait bon succès. It's successful, Mr. Speaker, because it's out on the ground. You can hear all of the feedback from farmers. It's successful, but the reality is that farmers need to be able to sell their bananas, and we are going to do all in our powers to make sure that's happening. And that is why my Prime Minister saw the need, Mr. Speaker, to lead a delegation to the UK to have discussions with the respective stakeholders and see how they can give support to our banana production. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to say thank you very much for the opportunity, and I want to say thank you to all those who have worked diligently as it pertains to this banana industry, and we are looking forward for greater things in 2019. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.